What do you do when something seems that it doesn't fit? Do you ever do a puzzle where you put the pieces in and they don't fit, so you try to jam it in and break it? Then you break the puzzle. But it's interesting because sometimes in preparation, there are things that seemingly don't fit, that don't make sense. And as we're thinking about this series and preparing for Jesus, I want us to take a moment and think about Joseph. So in this series, we've talked about different people that God is preparing so that Jesus can arrive in the fullness of time. So we looked at Zacharias, we looked at Mary, now we're looking at Joseph. Joseph was engaged to Mary, who would get pregnant, supernatural pregnancy with Jesus. Joseph is a very interesting character in this whole preparation experience, because it's not just that Joseph was engaged to Mary, but if you read in Matthew 1 verses 19 to 20, it says, Joseph, her husband, being a righteous man, not wanting to disgrace Mary, planned to send her away secretly. So Joseph found out that Mary was pregnant out of wedlock, right? They were engaged, and this doesn't seem to fit. This is not congruous. This is unseemly. And this doesn't, in all this preparation, Joseph could have looked at his fiancée, who is now pregnant, not from his baby, and Joseph could have been not doing that. No, I'm not going to put up with that kind of behavior. That's inappropriate, and this is dishonoring to me, disrespectful. Joseph could have had all those reactions, but it's interesting because God prepared Joseph. So in verse 20 it says, when Joseph considered this, again, he has a dream, and the angel speaks to him in the dream and says, look, Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary as your wife, for the child who has been conceived in her is of the Holy Spirit. So God prepares Joseph, which I think is actually quite phenomenal. And I say that because at this time in history, in this culture, Mary needs a husband. She's engaged. She's pregnant out of wedlock. She needs a man, a husband, a fiancé or whatever, to look after, to protect her, to watch over her, to validate her, and to not let her be stoned. He could have, according to Jewish custom and law, he could have been one of the first to throw a stone at her for violating their engagement. But God spoke to him. God prepared Joseph. God prepared Joseph for what seemed to be unseemly, inappropriate, unrighteous. God prepared Joseph. Well, we have to prepare now for our fantastic joke. This is a joke break. Super helpful to have a little bit of a pause in all the preparation. So think about this. How do sheep say Merry Christmas to each other? Like sheep? Didn't realize sheep would talk to each other. Well, sheep have a special language. And the way they say Merry Christmas to each other is Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad, right? You're like, they have sheep language. Interesting. They might even speak a little Spanish in their sheep language. Now back to the teaching. And as God prepared Joseph, Joseph was a key person. He was in essence the stepdad, if you will, to Jesus. But by being the protector, the fiancé, the one who could shield and watch over and validate Mary, Mary could have and experience this pregnancy as well as the delivery of Jesus in safety under the covering of Joseph. And Joseph saying, yep, she's my wife. And yep, we're engaged. And nope, I'm not uptight or even remotely angry about her pregnancy. In fact, I very much support her pregnancy, and I'm here to protect her, to nurture her, to take care of her, to provide for her during this time in her life, our life together. I think sometimes that in our lives, we think we go through seasons or experiences that seem to be inappropriate or unseemly. But I think we ought to consider that God could participate in what is unseemly or inappropriate. And even if it is unseemly or inappropriate, God has the ability to redeem, to repair, to make something completely beautiful, amazing, supernatural out of something that seems not so great. And I like that Joseph was agreeable to God's plans. God prepared Joseph so that he could play a pivotal role in the birth of Jesus, as well as a pivotal role in protecting Mary and Jesus' future and his infancy. So it's interesting to think about the preparation that God used for Zacharias to prepare the way for John the Baptist. God prepared Mary to be pregnant, supernatural pregnancy with Jesus. God prepared Joseph, said, hey, here's what's going on. And Joseph agreed with God's preparations. I think at the end of the day, ultimately, the key thing for us is to agree with the preparation that God has, what God is doing in this season, in this time, and that we are facilitators for Jesus' presence, Jesus' arrival. So let's prepare. Let's prepare for Christmas. Let's prepare for the arrival of Jesus. And let's let God prepare through our lives the expression of Jesus to the world around us. Thanks so much.